Hello, and welcome to our series Thinking More About Prayer. As you may have seen from the introduction, this is a series that aims to help us understand what prayer is and how to do it, and ultimately how to pray for other people as well as ourselves, and to bless others with our prayers. This video is answering the question, what is prayer? If you're new to the Christian faith or not yet a Christian, and never been quite sure what Christians mean when they talk about prayer, we hope this video will be for you. Ultimately, prayer is communicating with God. It's talking to Him, and sometimes it's listening to Him, to what He might want to say back. Most of us start out by talking to God with words, maybe out loud, or maybe just saying them quietly in our mind. And as Christians, we believe that God will hear us when we do so, that He will hear every prayer, even if sometimes it takes Him a while to answer them, or seems to. Now, those don't have to be our own words. Many people find it helpful when they start out in prayer to pray prayers that have been written by somebody else. If you find it hard to find the words to pray, or if it feels silly praying your own words, then you might find it helpful to begin by praying what we call a set prayer, a prayer that somebody else has written. And the most famous of those, of course, is the Lord's Prayer, which we'll be thinking about in our next video. But in time, most of us find that it becomes helpful to pray in our own words, to say what's on our own heart. For some, that comes naturally. The moment they start praying, it's natural to pray in their own words. Others find it helpful to start off with set prayers and work up to praying what we call extempore, praying in your own words. But whatever your journey, the purpose of prayer is to talk to God, to communicate with Him, to say things to Him, and sometimes to wait and listen for what He might be saying to us, either in words or in feelings, or in the coincidences that start happening when we pray. There's no one place that you have to pray in. Sometimes people think you have to pray in church. You don't. We try and make church a space where it's easy to pray, and where there's lots of things to help you pray and other people to pray with you. But you can pray anywhere. Jesus often prayed outside, up a mountain. Other times we know in the Bible people prayed in a boat stuck at sea, or in the middle of journeying somewhere, or sitting on the roof of their house. You can pray anywhere, and you can pray any time. Again, some find it helpful to have set times of prayer. For me, I especially try and pray in one particular hour in the morning, first thing after I get up, because I find otherwise I never make the time during the day. But there's no one time when one has to pray, and in fact we'd encourage you to feel that you're able to pray at any time, even if it's just a quick prayer in a difficult situation, saying to God, please help me with this. Whenever we pray, and wherever we pray, God listens. And God doesn't care how beautiful our prayer is, how fine the words are. He doesn't particularly care whether we're on our knees or standing up or sitting down. He's not impressed by us having just the right language or very flowery and beautiful language. What He cares about when we pray is simply our hearts, our attitude towards Him, whether we're genuinely trying to talk to Him and to seek His help and to share with Him how we're feeling and what we need. Most of the time that prayer is asking Him for something, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes prayer is telling Him how we feel, telling Him that we're sad or happy, that we're grateful for something that happened, the birth of a child, a beautiful day. Sometimes prayer is sharing with God that we're angry, or even getting angry with God. And there's plenty of people in the Bible whose prayers were having a rant and having a go at God. And God was not cross with them about that, as far as we can see. In fact, He was glad that they'd been honest with Him. If you're a parent, you may be familiar with this, that you'd rather your child was honest and frank with you about how they were feeling, even if they were a bit cross and grumpy, rather than that they always put on a polite front and never told you how they really felt. So wherever you are, however you're feeling, however you want to go about it, prayer is talking to God, communicating with Him. We hope over the course of this series you'll learn some new ways to do that, and you'll find the ways of praying, the ways of communicating with God that work best for you. But wherever you may be, and whatever may be the best method, above all, we'd encourage you to just go and do it. Try praying to God. And maybe if you're watching this and you haven't prayed before, now is a good time to turn off your phone, shut the door, get away from the distractions, and just try talking to God. Even if it's a prayer that starts, if you're real, if you can hear me, then this is what I want to say. That's a fine place to start, and God doesn't mind if we start from a place of uncertainty. But whatever place you're starting from, a committed believer or not a believer at all, very used to prayer or never tried it before, let me encourage you, when you've watched this, try praying, and come back for the next video as we think about some of the set prayers we can pray, and especially praying the Lord's Prayer, and we hope that will be helpful. For now, have a pray. God bless.